reality, ain't no reason nobody should be broke unless there's something going on with their mind in today's time.
TikTok changed the trajectory of music.
We speak lust. Love really is just commitment.
And I believe that today's man, you kind of almost have to piece together a father for yourself.
If we go look at her first performance and then look at her latest performance, is the same routine.
Wow.
Nothing changed.
To me, what makes you an expert is when you can do it again. That's why to me, a one-hit wonder is always going to be a failure. Because to me, what that means is either you gave up, which is kind of rare, is that you couldn't do it again. This is about the playground for your dreams. Because it's not something that you can give up. What we talking about today, man? Who we got? This your partner.
Yeah, man, we got one of Philly's best hustlers in the world, man. A really good character and individual, man. You know, Philly bring out some of the best hustlers I ever seen. You know what I'm talking? We had a Hustler Awards. We definitely had Philly up there.
Always. Yeah. They top 5.
Oh, for sure.
They top 5.
But a good brother, man. Somebody that, you know, I can genuinely say, you feel me, it's about brotherhood.
Okay.
You feel me? Like every time I meet up with him, this my agent as well now. You know what I'm talking about? But somebody, every time I meet him, he's introducing me to the right people.
Okay.
You feel me? He just genuinely cares about the fact that we have these tribal connections with each other, right? He's an A&R, he's a business owner, multi-hyphenate entrepreneur, owner of a brand, right? Has his own shoes, things of that nature, successful in his endeavors, you know, and I just think that he's one of them genuine dudes that deserve that highlight in that conversation.
What's up?
So, you feel me? I just wanted to bring him on the show, bring him into the house. And,
come on.
You feel me? We talk about the manifestations.
Well, let's bring him out, man. Let's get to it. All right.
My brother Mont Brown.
TikTok changed the trajectory of music.
A fact.
Hip hop, something, you know, our culture works so hard, Black and Latinos, and, you know, work so hard to build, and now it's just like
shit disrupted.
Yeah, because of TikTok.
The technology, I mean, there's some good, but there's a lot of downsides.
So,
like you said, I mean, if with deep fake and all that, like the shit that I get nervous of. Okay, so now you can mimic my voice, you can edit my picture. Now we got fake confessions.
Right.
So it's like we don't think that cops go to as much stuff as they've been planting on us and things that have happened since the beginning of policing. So now they not gonna use it.
That's why you gonna have to have your own AI. So that's why I have to fight other AIs.
But I'm saying, so now I gotta defend it. It's crazy.
I'm serious. Like you gonna have to have. Listen, they got the new pens that's coming out, right? And one of the first viral use cases is gonna happen is you're gonna be in a club and you're gonna be like, make sure you show me and detect all the real females, right? So you ran into a trance and all of a sudden,
cut.
You know what I mean? The audio and the voice ain't adding up. It's gonna be like, sorry, bro, that's a female. I mean, that's a dude.
Yo, this is the one that I want to see. It was actually the coolest idea that just got pitched to me.
Yeah, it's that good AI.
So nobody take this. I don't know. We might have to cut this one off. But this dude pitched me on this idea where it was a dating app that would do genetic matching to make sure that if you were to have kids, they would be superior. Like, you know, there's like genetic matches that just don't work. Like, you know, if you got,
I think that came out
sickle cell trait,
40s, so
you don't want to be with somebody else with sickle cell trait because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like certain things that you watch out for.
I think that came out at Auschwitz.
Imagine if you could swipe through your app to make sure like, nah, this is not a good match for you. Like, don't even knock that one down.
Was bro from Auschwitz?
Nah.
He's bro from Auschwitz. That's crazy, bro.
No, actually it's from Houston.
Is that the third one?
I was thinking about something. I'm like, yo, that's like, cause anybody who's had kids, you go through like the genetic testing and stuff in the hospital with the babies. You're like, it's all kind of, you start learning about each other and you're like,
no, you know,
this shit nerve-wracking.
What's going to happen is it's going to be like how it's going to be arranged marriage and arranged parenting, right? So like, we big up on the fact that people talk about, oh, that's arranged marriage, that's oppression. It's really not, number one. You have a greater chance of being successful with an arranged marriage, right? And that benefiting the family long term, right? Because in unarranged marriages, people don't make the best decisions because you can make trauma decisions. You can make decisions from so many reasons, right? Emotional decisions. So therefore, we see the 50% decrease rate when it comes to divorces. But when you add AI into that, and now you're doing a different test range of compatibilities, it's going to be arranging people together based on very logical factors of compatibility. Then you do that from a biological level, right? Now you got AI doing future planning for people. So it's going to give you a pool of candidates and be like, look, this your top 10 to go swim.
Yeah, I think that might work out a little better.
Yeah, I mean, but what do people say? They say don't let a temporary feeling allow you to make a permanent.
Yeah, and that's how people do.
You know what I mean? Like that's
it's love. All right. That's what you think.
Yeah.
Why should she be your baby mama? Send me, is that still love? All of them love crap. Man, people, as soon as the baby mama and baby daddy drama, these people hate each other. That's the worst, the most toxic thing I think about society, to be honest, is the baby daddy, baby mama toxic. I hate each other culture.
Well,
it's the worst thing I hate to see. We don't
even define love, I think, the right way. We speak lust. Love really is just commitment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I love this person. It's like,
you love this person?
Yeah, what's your commitment level to, like, what are you really talking about? Like, you just really describing lust and trying to articulate that shit.
That's like the homegirl with the I think he was a Jamaican or African artist, and he was up on stage, and homegirl went up there and looked her boyfriend in the crowd.
Yep.
Is that
what's that?
But you turn around and say, I love you.
Yeah.
It had to be a Nigerian.
I think it was Nigerian. Yeah, that's like, how is that love?
Bro, listen, there's no apologies you get after that. There's no coming back. There's no excuses. There's none of that. It's just exit stage left.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Instantly. Like, you done, folks.
Immediately.
But see, that's so dangerous to disrespect a man in his face like that, because the people don't always know how they gonna react to things. You know what I mean? Men don't always know how you would react in a moment where you get disrespected. And rage can come out, violence can come out, and you may label this man whatever you want to, but you put that man in a situation where he didn't even know how he was going to react, because you created a trauma that was so disrespectful that he only had one response. So you got to be careful, and men ain't just, and this, nobody care about men. If you do that to a woman, then the whole world like, why you do that? A girl do it and people is laughing, right? And this is the type of shit that men be having to deal with, and that's why the suicide rate so high, because they don't know how to deal with being a man in a society that punish you for reacting like one.
Oh, these kids, that's why these kids don't want to be men. I just saw the stat on that, like the Gen Z?
The Gen Zs.
Gen Z, and then what's that? Alpha, I guess.
Yeah,
the young kid, they don't want to be. They don't want to be men because the pressures of it.
I mean, it's rough. Man, bro talked about it. It's hard to be a man when you don't have that father figure in the household. You feel me? Like, I was raised by my grandfather, so man.
Yeah. That's what we need.
Yeah, that's better though. You gotta go back a couple. You want to get to the 50s and the 60s.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. I think like when it got to the 70s, it started tailoring off a little bit. Because that's when the Superfly pimp era came in. Yeah. Manhood became like, it started to transition into like European fashions and things of that nature. It became more of an exterior thing, right? It became masculine aesthetic, right? Versus the masculine values and attributes. And then, of course, the 80s, that was a psychological era that messed everybody up. Gangs, drug infestation, things of that nature. Then you got the over masculation, right? Yeah. Then you get to 90s. By 90s shit, we been dealing with the effects of the goddamn 70s to the 80s. Right? So these the babies of that generation, the fathers that are fatherless, that don't know what to do, or that had the fathers that was in the streets mobbing, tripping, absent. Then you get to the 2000s, this the millennial internet daddies. And these dudes, they don't say father, they daddies. It's different. Right? Then you start throwing in the language of the zaddy. Right? They not even daddies no more, they zaddies out here. You know what I mean? It's going to get to the point they just addies. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know what's going on. It ain't even.
Well, it is addies, because like, what's your addy?
Yeah, it's your addy. Give me your addy. That's all mama was an addy. I didn't remember the name of nothing. He was an addy.
Oh, but what you just said, now, like, people like, how you like, the dad and the mom, like, how y'all meet? My man sent me her addy.
Drop the addy. The one. That's
crazy.
He was just an addy.
So go back to what you were saying. That's not love.
Nah.
That's love, because I seen you got BBL, and I seen a picture, and I
saw it on my Explore feed.
Yeah,
slid the DM.
Yeah, because at least my pops had to write my mom letters before he was able
to pull up on it.
Yeah.
Really like.
he
What
had
you
to
doing
get
with
he
your
had to
name?
get a bunch of letters, which was intercepted by my grandma because my pops was a jail Negro, and she
Yeah.
was like, "You don't need him, BB." That's what she called my mama back in the day. But it was this work you had to do. Like if you sending a woman a letter, you for sure like you envisioning, you picturing, you articulate, you got. And he a gangster. He got his grammar right.
When
Sending her Shakespearean love letters.
But not only did you have to put the work in like that though, but there was no highlight reel of you that somebody was able to create a level of bias against.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, if you meet somebody, right? Let's say you was single, they looking at your page. They not coming up to you for who you are.
Right.
They coming up to the internet perception, what you've put out,
Who
the
you know,
following,
what you done
who you
did.
connected with. It's like now everybody's kind of a pseudo celebrity. And we've already seen in the celebrity world, real was always difficult for them. That was the part of it because nobody was dealing with them for who they were.
Right.
You know what I mean? Really, it was for all the other shit.
Yeah.
Now everybody's got to deal with that.
And
We got to equip for all that.
expectation is high, which the thing about expectations, they can truly, in a sense, they can never really be met. The fantasy is never the reality. Nobody wants to be your fantasy all goddamn day. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to
too
do
much
that.
work.
Whatever you got, I'm chilling on the couch right now. What you want me to be posing like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing that. I'm about to sit back and relax and enjoy my life and my day. I'm not trying to be on Malcolm X at the podium all day.
We can't even do regular shit no more.
Even though that might be me
top.
though. That might be me just on my pastime. But I'm saying, don't expect it.
But that's what I'm saying. What are we expecting? We expecting the dopamine. Like everybody really some fiends out here.
Yeah.
That's what we used to. So you can't even do a regular weekend. Everything got to be extravagant.
Yeah.
It's got to be Instagram worthy. It's
Tulum, birthday, like that's mandatory.
It's like, damn, we can't just go to the beach.
But see, that's when you know you get you a right partner that ain't trying to do it for the gram, ain't trying to do it for social. Find you somebody that don't have all of that. They like, I just want to spend some good time, and they really mean it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Like you find that's easy to maintain. Right. And then all you got to do is be a little more thoughtful outside of that consideration. And you got a healthy relationship.
Oh, see.
I feel like nowadays, even like, I just, like, even like my youngest, I tell them, I don't think you should be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know what that is, bro. Cause ain't nobody's, if you 18 to like 28, I don't think you should be in a relationship.
I just told my little brother that. I told him, listen, man, you too young, first of all. If you broke, you don't need a broke woman. That's what I told him. Yeah, because that's what the Quran said. Same thing for a broke woman. She don't need a broke man. Now, listen, I hear all this potential talk, but in reality, there ain't no reason nobody should be broke unless there's something going on with their mind in today's time, which means that you haven't picked up in the encyclopedia of opportunities, you ain't picked up one. And the encyclopedia of skill acquisition that you can pick up in this damn time, you decided, I don't have the mental fortitude, focus, resilience, or grit to go through the learning process and develop myself in not one of these areas to where I can be compensated for my skill sets. That's a development that you got to go through before you meet another person. And how is they seeing your value if you ain't even brought that out yet?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So so I started telling my youngin, like, bro, you 24. You have nothing really going because you're 24. I don't expect you to have it figured out.
Yeah.
So
we ain't talking about your little reds. You know,
yeah, like, first of all, at 24, you don't even know yourself.
Yeah.
No. You haven't spent time with you because you're 24.
Yeah.
So I feel like you gotta spend time with yourself. Travel by yourself.
Yeah, expose yourself to different
broaden
things.
your horizon a little bit, bro.
Hell yeah.
And once you figure you out,
explore.
Then, but
I'm from Oakland, you from Philly, you from LA. A lot of people in our cities get stuck in their environments. They never leave.
Yeah.
I think this is another thing. Like, as a young man, you have to travel, right? I think ladies, men, fellas, like, you got to talk to that person, see where they traveled before.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they may not even seen enough to know themselves. They haven't experienced enough in different a variety of situations to be like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I like. You got to taste test in life. So every young man has to leave his local environment, be a traveling man, to see who he is.
For sure.
You feel me? Especially like we talking Detroit, Oakland, Chicago, Atlanta, these environments. You know, Atlanta's pretty diverse. In LA, you go find some diversity. But when you talking about people from the hood, especially if you're from the streets and you ain't never left the street, you ain't ready. You ain't ready for life. You ain't ready for a relationship. You ain't really ready for nothing.
So that's what I'm
travel.
saying. If you 20, 21 years old and you saying, this is my wife and I know what I want, is that, bro, that don't even make sense. Right. You never left your 10 block radius. Nah, bro.
How many places you traveled so far?
Man, I've been around. I've damn near been to every state. I've been everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, but that was, you know what it is? That was a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like, just because I'm from the hood, like, oh, I'm from the hood and this just what it is. No, I wanted more for myself. So I wanted to go to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to Dubai. I wanted to go to Paris. For me, not for a woman, like for me, because if I'm not there 100%, how can I be there for you?
Right.
I can't pull from a half glass. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what a lot of people is doing, pulling from a half glass.
Yeah.
Straight up.
That's a super fact. So let's listen, man. We started off high flying, man. We went straight to it, man.
I was about to say that was the best. That was the best intro. I don't know. Yeah, I was like, is this where we going? I was waiting for the intro.
Hey, every show different, man.
I like that.
I coined this term at the house. We at the house, man. That's how you said it in the hip fashion, man. So right now, who we got in the house? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's my good brother Mont Brown. Mont Brown is a legend in Philly, right? If you put together your top 10 list, you can never leave Mont Brown out.
Man.
You know what I'm talking about? That's the way I think about Philly, and that's the way I think about some of the top individuals out there, inspiring, educating, leading, doing it by example, right? In the fields, from the streets to the industry to business, entrepreneurship. Man, you've been inspiring people for a very long time. Every time I meet and connect with you, you connect me with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? First time I met YG, Future, whoever it is, he connected me directly. He just one of them type of people to be like, bro, you got to know my bro. And it's egoless. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
That's rare commodity. Yeah. That's rare air, because most people I meet, it's all of this. Yeah. It's none of this. You know what I mean? And it always feels like, bro, doing this for some reason, for something. I don't know why. I don't get that energy from you. It's just pure. You feel me? It's we talk about it a lot. It's tribal. You feel me?
Tribe, man.
It's find your tribe season. And we know that we exist in a world where black men know each other, but we don't really communicate with each other. We don't really build enough, right? And a lot of it is tearing down those walls of distrust, right? Before we can actually get to some layers of real building first, to be like, you know what, man, I got this deal, man, I'm doing this business, man, let's do this. We got so much trauma in between us. We don't feel like, we start to almost give up on each other. You know what I'm saying?
It's like we don't even know each other. We know of each other.
Yeah.
So it's like no more that camaraderie. Like, you know what I mean? It used to be when we were all growing up, you see another brother, it was a nod, like, what's up, brother? Like, you know what I mean? I see. Now it's like we be tense, like, you see another brother come up, it's like you a little on edge. Yeah. Cause you don't know exactly, it's not love anymore.
Cause we went from that was a brother culture. That was like, what's up, bro? You feel me, bro? And not even bro, like brother. You feel me? That brother culture was different, like sis culture. When it went to like culture and gang culture, then you actually can't trust them. Like it became more of a prison culture outside.
Well, cause in LA, if they say what's up, you probably got to run.
What you mean?
If you was walking on the street and somebody pull up and say what's up,
like
you immediately, like, it ain't no answering. You was running. Yeah. That's how that was at a certain point in the 90s. It was real.
Yeah. And say, well, I'm from Oakland. We ain't got gang culture. You know what I'm saying? So, nah. We don't bang the Bloods and Crips or everybody. So if you meet somebody from Oakland or the Bay, they might say, what's up, blood? But we just meant that as like, it's like a brother endearment. You feel me? Or even if they say cuz, it's like a brother endearment. It's not banging like that.
Yeah, no, that wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, you know, they bang on hoods, you feel me? And you get to different outside parts, but Oakland specifically, nah. It ain't.
Well, I want to hear, how did you get to like this state where you are connecting brothers? You know what I mean? And openly, right? As Keys was talking about, where did that come from? Was that just an upbringing? Like you had some older brothers, you know what I mean? Like men in your life that was teaching you that? What?
Yeah, like my family is just givers by nature. Like my grandma, both of my grandma on my dad's side and my mom's side, they both was just givers. Like my mom a giver, my dad was a giver. Like I think for me, like just understanding at a real young age that like none of this shit is ours, bro. And we on borrowed time.
Yeah.
So if I got a connection, if I got a plug or whatever, if I could help somebody's situation, every time I see him, I don't care if it's a person that I know he need
Yeah.
to connect with, I don't care if they in the middle of a conversation. Hey, this bro, y'all need to like, not only just me, I'm about to put y'all on touch right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't care, bro. And
Yeah.
I think like our culture is the crab in a barrel mentality,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, if I put you on or him on, then they ahead of me. I don't live my life like that, but I genuinely live my life. Whatever God got for me, that's for me.
Mhm.
Even if I didn't put bro on with plays, if he go do these plays and he make millions from them,
I'm giving them a cut.
I don't care though.
Hey, no, but
that's
but
not why
see-
he was doing it.
But
Yeah,
see, and not doing it for that does not excuse people not having reciprocity.
100%.
Right. And I think
100%.
that's where, because what happens is there becomes a burnout, right? Because you do so much good without having expectation, but it doesn't mean that you don't expect reciprocity.
Yeah.
Right. Reciprocity keeps you filled up so you can continue to do good.
Yeah.
Right. But when it gets to this point, it's like giving to family without a thank you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I wasn't expecting you to get my money back. Right. But you give me the energy back.
Yeah.
Right? Because currency is an exchange of energy. So now I feel robbed versus given. Right? And this is how it is in a culture. We run off on the plug. Now a person feeling robbed. I was doing it out the goodness of my heart, but now you robbed that goodness out of my heart.
Yeah.
You feel me? So that's why I believe in reciprocity.
For sure.
Come on, man. I made M's. Man, I got you. You feel me? Like, why not? Somebody makes me M's. Oh, bro, listen, what's your bank account number? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I got you a couple
but
points on that.
That's
easy.
That's like tribe.
Yeah.
Everybody not going to understand.
Unspoken code type.
You know what I'm
stuff.
saying?
Yeah.
It's like, and I really live my life like whatever I get rewarded with, that's God's decision. Like, I don't care about what the next man got, what the next female got. As long as I'm doing my part in the world, because it's like, I tell my cousin this all the time, like, hey, bro, like, how you going to lead the world? Are you going to like add to it or are you going to take away from it? So when I dip out of here, I know for a fact, I got so many people who could be like, nah, bro, like he did it the right way. Like, and that's what really matters at the end of the day. And shit, if you real like that, and make sure my son cool, make sure my family cool if they need something. But I just think, man, like we just need to reprogram the mindset of young black men and females.
For sure. Well, I want to talk about something else you do, and something that gets into a broader discussion in the industry, artist development.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you are an A&R, and something that's hugely missing, right? I think in this space is your services, right? When we see a few good acts that come out today, they're like, let's say like a Tyler, if you will, right? That looks like she got some real artist development behind it. You see a full rollout happen.
Yeah.
Today, that's missing because everybody's doing it for the money, microwavable results. People throw some money behind that, treat you like a product. The profit ain't there no more. They strip that away. You dead in the sea.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to get your take on the future of music and how artists should go about developing themselves before pushing themselves out there and being ready for the music.
I think that's a great question. I think COVID, I think we've seen like TikTok come alive, and it now that we know it's TikTok artists, and I think like the numbers and the streams, like people start caring about that more than artistry, right? So like you said, Tyler, like she dope. Her process probably been like, I don't know the exact number. I'm pretty sure it was like, cause you could just tell.
Yeah.
The poise she got, like, probably like an 8 to 5 year process. Journey. So it's like, as an A&R, you got to ask yourself, do I want the person that's going crazy on TikTok? I'm a slow walk someone like a Tyler or a Victoria Monet.
Yeah.
Now you looking at 6 Grammys. 2 years ago, we didn't even know who she was.
Behind the scenes, right.
But just because we didn't see it, that don't mean she wasn't working.
Right.
And it take a certain kind of it take a special kind of person to say, you know what? Because at the end of the day, like, your job on the line. So it's like, you know what? I believe in it. So for me, we come from the era Master P, Jay-Z, the Ja Rule, the 50, where like you had the culture, the streets had to be tapped into you before like the real industry. But now it's just like,
now it's the industry before the streets.
Yeah,
like,
you
how,
can hack
like,
it.
Bro, How? That's not like
Everybody can't be, like you said, hacking it. Everybody's trying to hack it now, right? Which I call it the pirate method. It's when you go out there, you're able to get the treasure, but you can't come back again because you're not respected by none of the people that you got the treasure from because you took it.
you took it.
Right? So it's being able to cultivate the relationship to be able to get the reward. You know what I mean? From the people. And there's no connectivity today. There's no story. There's no meaning. Every person you just named, I could tell you the story behind them.
100%.
Right? The 50 Cent rollout was a story coming.
It was his life.
Right? Yeah.
But I think the difference in that, though, and it, not to say what's right or wrong, right? I don't want to speak on that and I want to get your take on it, but it feels like to me, we used to make fun of the one-hit wonder.
Yep.
Because that was like a bad return on investment, right? So if that was a 5 to 8 year process and all I got out of that was one hit and then you fizzled away, like the label lost money on that, right? On that development, where now people want to be a one hit wonder. Because if they could do it quick,
that's what I was about to say.
They happy with that little lick that they got and they disappear. They're like, whatever.
They're not even artists.
No, that's what I was. All right,
like,
thank you.
That's your little cousin. Like, your nut little cousin
Yeah.
who's just in the back doing it.
Yeah.
And now he got the biggest song in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, like how you, cause this platform that China got.
Yeah.
So, but what about Lil Jamal outside who really like that? Like, damn near Kendrick level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He don't get a shot.
Right.
Cause there's no analytics, there's nothing to support that. But I mean, hey bro, look, this is what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to get you fresh. You gotta get in the stew. You might want to get something with YG. Mozzie, since you from Oakland, it's like that take a special kind of individual to see that thing.
Right.
That's a real A&R. But it's you got the, the research A&Rs, but they do a hell of a job. And then you got cultural A&Rs like myself who on the ground. And I think today's time, you kind of need both.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both.
Yeah,
like
you could gauge it.
Understanding it in this digital age, but then having, cause back again to Tyler, she got like some old school titans behind her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they crafting her with the genuine development of like an artist, those real things you would do to make sure that this person is really seated before that they go out there.
Sure.
And I feel like then you got the models of like the digital hacking that you go do as well. So it's not one, it's this hybrid, you know what I mean, of both. You got that classical, traditional development, then you got the digital age development to making sure you hitting them on both sides.
Yeah, and it's not neither one. Those two, that's perfect. If you street and you digital, fine.
Yeah.
It's not about, it's the shit in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about dumb people trying to be like the both of y'all. Now it's like you drop a project, now they trying to be like you drop a project. Now they
and that's and to me that's what I want to ask you about, because it starts to feel like in music where, like, I love the Gabbies of the world, right? The artists her, like the real musicians that were developed, right? Since she was 12, right? And like was signed, and you didn't really see her come out for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like that to me is like the artist, where now it feels like it's a lot of just marketers, people that are really good at marketing themselves and not the artistry.
Well, they TikTokers. I mean, you made a good point when you're talking about Tyler. Now you seeing Victoria Monet, right? She was doing her thing. Now you see her get with JD and Brian Michael Cox, biggest song, correct? Because and shout out, they both my OG. It was a disconnection for a long time. Young rappers wanted to get with young producers. That's cool. You getting a hot beat. Yeah. But you go get with JD, bro, you getting a life lesson. It's just, it's two different things.
Yeah, I think that right there is key. That's like the spiritual development of an artist. Them mentally being able to handle what's to come. And to be able to navigate that in a way where this artist has longevity and they don't burn out in 5 years. This is otherwise you get an investment and it's like taking a person and you loading them up with steroids and go out there and fight. And you're not tripping because you're just trying to get this one win, you're betting it all, and you go cash out and you done and you on to the next fighter. Versus you invested in this person's legacy, right? Because now, listen, even afterwards, they can sell grills. You know what I mean? Afterwards, right, they can put up gyms. Afterwards, we got movies, right? So it's like you invested into the long term. Afterwards, you got bite snacks, you know what I mean? Like Mike Tyson, you know what I mean? So it's
You
a
built a
different
brand.
long-term investment that you're thinking of, like the brand,
Yeah.
right? Versus this product that you put
Yeah.
out that's hot. And that to me, you know, for those who don't know, you know, I'm working on my my album.
And it sound amazing.
You feel me?
It sound good.
But I'm going through
heard
my
it. It
A&R
sounds good.
phase.
It
You know what I'm
sounds
talking
Yeah,
about?
it sound good. But you
No.
once again, you taking the proper step.
Yeah.
It ain't like, yo, since I'm 19 kids, let me just put this to the world. What
Yeah.
you could do,
Mhm.
right? And because the world is gonna eat it up. But you like, hey, bro, I'm gonna pull up on you on YG. Let me get your honest opinion. You did that twice already.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, bro. And I never even told you that, but you did it twice.
Mm.
So like you on it. You want your shit to be good.
Yeah.
That's what I was wanting you to say to Dame, because he pressed you on it like you weren't respecting the art, and you didn't push back on him. And I thought you were, because I've seen how you've been moving. Like, you've been getting the feedback with folks and putting in the time and practicing the craft, and you just weren't doing it in the way that he was talking about it.
Oh yeah, no, it's
But you
always
kind
gonna
of
be
were
my
like,
way.
What was his angle?
Nah, he just, you know, he wanted Keys to do more like open mics, you know what I mean? And get out there and just kind of like hit the
told him that,
circuit in
though.
that way.
I think that'd be dope.
Yeah, I think the conversation I was having with Rance was like, you know, like if I'm gonna do it with the live band,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that's not where my development phase is right now. My
Yeah.
development phase is in the actual art, the music.
Yeah.
Then when I go into the performance, that's a whole nother phase for me. I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, that's
out
a
of
whole nother
making
thing.
music at that moment.
Yeah.
Now I got to develop being a performer,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
for me those two different things.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because that's how I started out.
yeah,
So you being home and writing lyrics, that's one thing.
yeah,
But performing
Yeah.
with 6 different
Yeah.
musicians,
yeah,
that's
Whole-
a whole
different
different.
skill set.
First of all, you gotta be in the gym crazy.
yeah. Right.
Like that's a real workout, bro.
Yeah. Your cardio got to be crazy.
Well, see, I did that with being a speaker. So
breath control.
before I was getting on those stages, I was studying. I'm in the house, I'm researching, I'm developing my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Making sure that I got the knowledge, I'm incubating myself. But then going on stages, right? And you may see me on the stage, 20,000 people now, but before that, I'm outside in the streets, right? I'm on small stages. I've been to where I'm at poetry jam speaking, just freestyling, just to get the butterflies out my stage. I mean, out my stomach. Like, people don't see that development.
Yeah.
So for me, it's almost the same thing. Like, I'm freestyling on the stage at one of my events in LA, right? Just to make sure I get that fear out
With
to
the
see
piano,
if I'm ready. With
that
the
shit,
piano.
That was
That
hard.
to me is for me, when I think about that performance, it's same thing it requires for a speaker to be able to control that crowd. It's the same thing performing as an artist.
Yeah, same
You know what I
thing.
mean?
Ain't
And
nothing different.
most artists never get that space where they're speaking in front of 20,000 people for an hour straight, right?
Yeah.
That's a performance, no matter how you put it. Whether you Farrakhan, Malcolm, Martin Luther King, right? There's a cadence of rhythm and performance and tonality that goes with controlling the crowd, seeding these messages, call and response, hitting them with the different hooks, having inflection points. It's all a science.
Yeah.
And it's all in your mind.
Yeah.
They ain't like you reading off the script. Like you gotta.
You gotta be out.
And these is real emotions too,
Yeah.
by the way.
Who do you see? And I mean, you can name a bunch, I'm sure, but like, who do you think that people should be modeling after that's done it right
As an artist,
as an artist, like gone through the process, the journey, right, and it's really hit it the right way?
as far as like artists, 50 Cent and Jay-Z and 50 Cent.
Okay.
I mean, we seen it.
Yeah.
We seen it firsthand. They literally showed, Jay-Z literally showed us how to become a billionaire off of music. We much more than rappers. We black entrepreneurs, rap, clothing, music. We come to conquer it all. Rocket with 80 mil, like 18 months. You could bullshit with rap if you want. This is, he showed it.
Jay-Z did put every one of his blueprints in his music, literally.
Showed it. It's just, it's up to us to pick up the gems he was dropping.
Yeah.
But I think like, people, even 50, he took his real life and turned it into a real movie.
Mm-hmm.
He turned it into sneakers. He turned it to, or he just got off a tour.
Mm-hmm. Crazy too.
Yeah.
And
tour.
everybody, listen, you can
Global
watch 50
tour.
Cent's success, but you can't copy that. And I'm speaking to like artists that, you know, came up similar to around that same time. The 50 effect is different.
Yeah.
Because when you carve out an archetype for yourself,
Mhm.
right? And you become like the mascot of a genre. So you think gangster music, you think Eazy-E, you think
Yup.
50 Cent, right? You think Tupac. Once you have that thing, you're immortalized forever,
Yeah.
right? And that is the thing that you're trying to carve out as an artist, right? If somebody say, you know, think Afro beats, who comes to mind? Right? You go think of DeVito,
Yep.
right? You go think of certain people that's automatically right there.
Yeah.
They don't just represent music, they represent a genre. They're a whole archetype.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, when I decide to let y'all know, you feel me, where I want to stand in front of, y'all only go see, like, you think of it like, oh, that's Keys right there.
But
That's
that's already
anyone younger that you looking at too? Because I know you talked about Mozzie, you talked about, you know what I mean, like.
I mean, I could take it to like, if you want like for East Coast, I'm gonna say like Meek.
Okay.
Meek, he's the definition of what a East Coast, Philly, Jersey, Delaware guy. New York, that's talk about L.A. Nip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Nip,
Yeah.
and then at the Nip, I mean, because I seen it firsthand with YG. Like I seen how he moved, but like when Nip meant to culture, say that's another thing. It's not like, you know, when you get hot as a rapper, it's like, oh, bro, hot.
Yeah.
But when you gotta understand, it's bigger than you being hot. You a part of this culture.
Yeah.
Every rapper don't get that thing. Like,
Right.
no, you mean something to this culture. Like I told bro, like he means something to the world.
Yeah.
Like you got a real responsibility.
Yeah.
Every rapper don't have a real responsibility.
Got
Bro, just rap, bro. We don't. Now, the two young people who I think, Baby and Dirk. What you posted, the thing with Dirk, and that's just,
sure.
that come with understanding, bro.
Yeah, the responsibility with
Bro,
it.
you got a real responsibility. And I don't know if Dirk sit back and think like, yo, we push drill, and it's probably 2,000 kids who lost their life.
I think he's gotten to that point where he has. I think that it took a lot of dark tunnels to get to that point where, especially, you know, he talked, man, you need a place to think. He say, go to the masjid. You know what I mean? And that relationship you have with Allah, man, when you submitting and you putting your head down on the prayer rug, man, there's no more humbling feeling in the world. You're stripped of all your titles, your money, any of who you think you are, and it's just you and your maker. Right. And all you have is time to think about decisions and consequences, right? Like the goodness of who you are, your moral fiber, right? Like, what am I doing and what is the effect of it? Not just the effect that it has and the consequence of my life, but as you go through different levels of thinking, right? When you outside of poverty, you think about how you affect others,
100%.
right? Then how does that effect that you have on others affect others? Right. So now you start thinking in this level 5 thinking about how do I affect the world? Right. And now it changes the way you operate because you're not operating on how to affect yourself. You operate on how do I affect the world?
Yeah.
And then you start thinking on legacy because that means that it has to be beyond me, which is beyond my body. And I believe that Dirk is in that reflection stage of, right, how am I going to affect the world?
Yeah, that's because a lot of young black men, Latino too, we never get a chance to find our purpose.
Nah,
come on.
Sure.
Our life get cut short. So Nip was right there. He was right there.
Yeah.
He put the world up in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, bro, him and Nip would have been together. Jesus Christ.
Shout out to Nip family because it's funny, I done met everybody since.
Yeah.
But is it
good people?
Imagine how many other young black men and Latinos.
Nah, he carried that responsibility.
But now you know what?
He carried it well. Like
I ain't even gonna say just black and Latino, Caucasian, Asians, who just got their life taken
too soon.
A Bruce Lee,
yeah,
you know, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all these guys, and it just be like, at the end of the day, man, once you find out and figure out like your purpose, man, you go find that peace and stay away from the hood. Cause that's what that is, bro.
That's real. That's real.
Even how Nip lost his life, being in the hood, trying to
give back to it. But yeah.
Nah, man, once you find your purpose, man, you gotta like protect that energy at all costs, bro.
Yeah, put a system in place. Cause you know, we want to lift each other up, man. And I respect, you know, folks like Nip so much because he had built himself out of the circumstance, you know, but had that responsibility and wanted to give so much back into the community.
But you want to show,
you know what I mean? That's why we hated to see it so much because it's like his heart was so good with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was trying to pour back, and it was.
Well, he was serving it. He was living the storyline that we want to see all people in that position do.
Yeah.
Is to take that level of responsibility, but he was living outside the barriers of what people expected from him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And he was beating expectations. Right. And this is something that most people couldn't understand why he got so much love, because everybody could see. And Nip wasn't perfect. They come from a gangbanging background. You know what I mean? But that's what creates the value even more, because to come from that and to still have this drive to have y'all, this is the best thing I like to see from what I see from Nip's legacy. Is you meet any one of his partners, his brothers, you see that same exact spirit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That marathon spirit. You would meet Black Sam. It's like meeting Nip. You listening to him, talking to him like, bro, this is like a twin. You can see that foundation. And he inspired his family so much. It's like this glow and this effect that he has on each one of them when he talked. They like, Nip taught us about books every time I met him, about marketing, about branding, about psychology, about spirituality. And you can just tell he was taking everything that he was learning and he was just giving it out,
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's the only way we evolve. And think about how many other young guys that's in gangs who feel that, but they don't even know how to express it. Right. It go back to what we initially was talking about. As a young Black man, you can't express yourself, because if you express yourself, you get looked at as a bitch.
Yeah, you're weak.
You're weak. I'm just expressing myself. I'm a human being. We can't cry.
No.
We can't whine. We gotta be tough 24/7.
We can't even be human,
bro. We can't be human. So main homie, look, bro. Watching him, bro. I was sick for him.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I'm cringing for him. Like, I just imagine that car ride home was crazy.
Yeah.
But who he gonna talk to? He gonna talk to his homie about it? Nah, bro, after that bitch, bro. Move on. Nah, bro. What if he really loved that girl, bro? But we don't get a chance to even, like, talk about this stuff because we weak, bro.
Right. And that's what you got to understand. Vulnerability really is a strength, because it requires you to be fearless. You know what I mean? Y'all go judge me. I don't care. I'm still going to say it. Right. That's more strength than having to be guarded, because that's telling you I don't feel safe. You know what I mean? Which is more fear. Right. So that person that's just constantly expressing themselves and having that emotional openness, not where the emotions are controlling you, but it's saying that, listen, there's some people who's naturally emotional, right? Gangsters who naturally emotional. I'm not really that type of over emotional person. I'm not an over emotional sharer. It has to really get to a boiling point where I'm like, I need to share my feelings with somebody. But like, I got brothers and family members and people from the neighborhoods and things of that nature where they're, whether it's they design type, whether it's their personality, whether it's their star sign, whatever you want to call it, they are more emotional. So they got to speak things out. Otherwise, man, it kills them on the inside.
100%.
So, I think that's one thing that you have to understand, is that we punish people for being different, right? Where some people are internal and that's how you process, and maybe you find a positive outlet to get those feelings out. Another person literally has to speak it, right? Because they have a part in their brain that may be larger when it comes to that area of communication and emotional share.
I'm glad you said that.
That's just key.
Not to cut you off, I'm glad you said, like, when you speak, because when you speak, then you become a Kanye West. Or then you become a Cat Williams. Then you become a DMX. Then Dave Chappelle. Like, that, it make it tough. And a lot of people not raised the same. I'm pretty sure your father and your family was like stern. Like, no, we ain't doing this. We gonna do that.
For sure.
But what about homie next door who mom was on coke and dope and father wasn't there, and his sisters, and he was, his aunts, and they raised him. So the way he projects his emotions is gonna be different. So maybe he needs you. Hey, tighten up, bro. Let me talk to. That's a real thing.
That's very real.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
how'd you learn to express yourself?
Exactly.
Did you learn to express it as a man or as a woman, or
Yeah. And it's funny because I guess for me, I always sought it, because my pops. It's funny because my pops was no disrespect, pops. You know this, man. He was absent a lot. He could be on his missions, man, doing what he doing, but I always sought masculine discipline, right? I never sought to go look at a woman to figure out my behavior. You know what I mean? Patterns. So I think that was something that was innate in me. My brother, he'd leave out, he'd be gone from the house, and then it's me. And what my eyes sought for observation wasn't how my mother handled the situation. How would another man handle it? And I had to find a man that I respected enough to even observe how they would handle a situation, right? Otherwise, I would just be absent of that and looking at myself as the example until I found, right, the right observation. And I believe that today's man, you kind of almost have to piece together a father for yourself. You have to Frankenstein it.
Oh yeah.
Right? You may not like, and this is something important because this is just who I am, right? I didn't always have the best or great or good examples. Sometimes I had the worst, and that's how I learned because I knew to do the opposite.
Learn from good and
I
bad.
knew that this person, they're good to a certain percentage and they're bad to a certain percentage. So as you're telling me what you think I need to hear, I'm listening for what I think I should filter and take out, right? And it was later on in life, sometime even recent, yesteryear, to where I had to figure out, all right, what's the things that I've learned that I need to unlearn, and what are the things that I need to relearn, right? And a lot of them heavily have to do with emotions and women, right? And so when I think about what my uncles taught me, I had to then go to the root. What the hell did they fathers teach them? Where did I get these little nuanced sayings and ideas that I don't realize have such a deep-rooted control over the way I think about things, right? And so as a boy, there's a part of you that has to father yourself. It's almost like that when you talk about going into the world, being prepared to forge for yourself, protect yourself, right? Manage your household. Part of that is also going to seek development and seek elevation and getting good at it, right? Versus a person, well, I ain't have a pops, right? Oh, I ain't had this. Well, how did you seek to fulfill that or feel that, right? So that goes into this mindset. Otherwise, a person starts to have this self-pity. And then they start to validate why they're not developed in those areas versus saying that I filled that gap because I knew it was missing.
I mean, it's a challenge though, you know, for a lot of folks,
sure.
like, you know, I think you're also in a blessed situation where you had a lot of brothers too. You had a lot of male figures
brothers.
Yeah, but there's a group of y'all where you can feed off of. Like, I got some homeboys where I'm looking at the fact that they were just raised by their mom, but there's no male figures at all. So they were looking, but the example of the dominant force in their house was their mom. And so they picked up a lot of that.
The female trait.
Yeah, a lot of the mannerisms that they got to they got to work through as they get older.
Like
you
the
know
F or Y, right? Like having like,
That's the
and they wasn't in the house and we wasn't always at the mosque or whatever it may have been, but I know that if I want to go look, bro, that's what a man does.
That's a great source of
And
influence.
I would always think, how would this person behave in this situation? Not how I would, because I might not know. How would this person do it? Or you can see enough of my pops that I would think about how would pops handle it? How would my older brother handle it?
Right? That's always the best stuff that I hear about you, because the community. You like, and it's Oakland. It's you know what I mean? Like everybody, y'all, the way y'all talk about Oakland, to me is just dope. And I hear that sometimes in Philly. I hear it in other places. LA wasn't necessarily like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't always this like sense of community. LA's a little.
You want part of no guy?
No, bro. No, don't put me on that. Don't put me on that. Hold on now. Everybody, no, that ain't me. Y'all know. Don't even try that with me. Nah, but I play sport.
You had a team.
We had that. Yeah, I had the football team and the basketball team. But you know what I mean? LA is very spread out. You know what I mean? It's not rich communities. And I think like it really does take a village. You know what I mean?
I was about to say that. I was about to say that. So when I was coming up, like my mom did 24 years in jail. My dad got murdered. But growing up, the superheroes was the drug dealers and the hustlers.
Yeah.
They was the superheroes, and they'd check you if you're doing some nut shit. So like today's time versus today's time, open your phone up. All right, I want to be from 1 to 2, I'm gonna be like 19 keys. All right, bet. Then 3 to 4, I'm gonna be like Drake. You can just, like he said, you can just piece up who you are as a man. It don't even like, it don't matter.
Yeah.
But when you grow up in certain environments and in a certain time, no, you really had to be who you is. You had to stand on shit, and you was going to get checked. If you was outside messing around, guaranteed Miss Sydney or
Come
Mr.
on.
Jimmy was going to check you
Yeah.
and tell your folks.
Yeah.
But now it's like you can't even.
There's no accountability.
There's no
like that.
accountability
Yeah.
at all.
So take me back to that, because now I want to get into your story, brother. Just because I know you guys know each other, but
Right.
I'm learning and you giving out real game. So as you go through that, right, your mom is locked up, right? You lose your father, and now you know you one of the biggest A&R in the world, like, you know what I mean. So like, how? Give me that journey. What was the process for you?
So I had a son when I was 14, 15 around that time. That was my motivation.
Got it.
Like, I seen everybody around me, like even like going to them jails, seeing my mom like shackled up,
Yeah.
like an animal, bro. Like that left me traumatized. So that alone, like, oh, I'm never getting locked up, bro.
Yeah.
Like I don't even see why people want to be there. But I think like that, and then losing so many homies at a young age, and then having my son at a young age.
Okay.
Like I was just always tapped into God, bro. And I was just like, bro, I just used to stand on my steps at night and just like look at my environment and like, bro, there's no way. There's no way
Yeah.
I'm gonna be here for the rest of my life.
Were you seeing this? Were you seeing all the stuff that you're doing now?
Yeah.
And all? You saw it early.
Everything I'm doing.
Love that.
And it's
Dream
happening.
chaser, man.
Yeah.
Love that.
Every Philly hustler I know, they saw it first.
Yeah.
But nah, that's part of what this is, right? A manifest house, right? It's the idea that like you see it.
You got to,
You know?
because it's that thing, like, bro, in order for me, like, to be sane and not run the streets, because it was right there. My dad was one of the biggest drug dealers in Philadelphia. My brothers, like, my whole everybody, that's what. So it was right there. I could have did that, but it's like, nah, I gotta switch it up for my son.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, there's no way, but that one thing of just believing in something kept me going. Just believing in something, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know, damn, man, even if it's New York, and that's 2-hour drive, but that's something I felt good about myself. Like having a plan for the day. I got my clothes, I got my little money, but just having a plan. Nowadays, like they don't even put plans together. It's just like they shoot from the hip. They do whatever.
It's that sense of purpose, like you said. So you had your faith, but then you had your son.
Right.
And now you had this real purpose that was just pushing you beyond, and then you had your own vision.
My own vision from day one. And bro, like just understanding, bro, like if people really sit back and just like really understand, we get one life, bro. Like really think about that. It ain't no like, shit, I'm just do this tomorrow, then no, like once it's over, ain't no coming back. You ain't do shit. All you did was go to the club and smoke hookah, bro. That's your life. Like that's my nigga, that's your life. So when they talk about you, oh yeah, we was turned up, bro. We was throwing money, we was hookah, and we took a few trips. He had a couple shirts. What else?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So like I think when they start to really think about that, like what are you leaving behind? Once again, did you add to the world or did you take away from the world?
That's why I believe faith is so important, though. You know what I mean? Because you have to believe in this continuance, this higher meaning. And I think we're starting to get into a very godless society. With a lot of folks, and I think it's harmful, right? Because we feel like this is it. And when you feel like that, pushes you in a different space, man.
Yeah, I think
we're all men of faith. They could even be different faiths or whatever, but like I think just
the higher power.
Yeah, believe, being a person of faith, I think is
that's why people run into all these walls, because they don't have real meaning for what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? It has to be a higher purpose, right? People have purpose, but that higher purpose is different.
Yeah,
right? You can have a calling, but you got to have a higher calling. And that's the effect of the work that you do beyond self.
Yeah.
Right? How do you produce good in this world beyond self?
Yeah.
Right? So most people have these individualistic plans. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get me some money. All right. How is that money and how is that service of what you do going to affect the world to pour it back into it in some way? Right?
Yeah. It's almost like capitalism and faith clash. Right? Like capitalism at its core can be very individually based on achieving something, where faith is always about community. Like there's not a a religion in the world that's not about the greater good. Like there is no sense of just pure individualism. And I think that's where we have to find ways for it to coexist, right? Because capitalism
Conscious
isn't
capitalism.
bad, right? You know what I mean? Like it's finding that balance so that, yeah, you get yours, right? You can't pour from an empty cup. We get all that. But it's like, you can't just be totally for self
Nah,
where
but
you go.
that's where we go wrong. Cause
Yeah.
just say a kid, he 18 and he come up 4 million off, just say a record deal,
Yeah.
right? Now you got 4 million. So 19 keys is the big homie from the block. So the 18 years, I've been going to him for advice.
Yeah.
So now I get this 4 million. I no longer need his services. I don't go tap in no more.
Mm.
And then it become a thing like, I'm big homie. I got the money.
Mm.
And that's a real thing.
Where we think the money is the
Right. Well, you really just little homie with some money.
Yeah.
So because you don't got the education, you don't got the knowledge, you don't got the resources.
You hit a lick.
You hit a lick.
The money is only one category of the development.
Correct.
Exactly.
And people, what they do is they take the pie chart where you got the respect, the values, all of the other stuff. And then when they get the money, they put that over everything. Like, oh, I'm 100% there. It's like, sit down, little homie.
Yeah, but not even knowing that bro went to school for marketing.
Yeah.
Bro really want to do real estate. He got everything laid out. He just need 400,000.
Yeah, yeah.
But instead of you going to, hey, big homie, look, I put 1 mil up for myself, but look, let's come up with this plan. I trust you. Well, that ain't happening no more.
Yeah, it's like we don't put the value on wisdom anymore.
No, they don't.
You know what I mean?
What?
It's just
people just want information.
Yeah.
And then you giving the information, don't even mention that you'll lay a whole plan out for them. They won't even say, bro gave me the sauce. They just, no, I made it up myself. It's nasty work out here, bro.
It's nasty work.
It's nasty, man.
That's East Coast right there. It's nasty work for sure.
That's why we gotta reprogram, bro.
So what do you think? What are your thoughts then, right? As you're instilling in your kids, right? And like, what's your how are you rewiring folks? Like, what's the messaging that you're giving?
Bro, I feel like we just like, man, it's going like Barack said, I only got 8 years in this joint. It's gonna take way longer than 8 years. I think we just sparking a fire, bro. We just sparking a conversation. We got a lot of reprogramming to do. I think for me, and I'm just from one part of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Only thing I can do is show my people that it's possible. Come back, give back, bring kids out to LA, take kids, just connect them as much as I can. I can't save the world, but I'm just doing my part. That's it. And I'm like, I can honestly say, I'm doing my part, and it shows.
Yeah.
Like I demonstrated man, come to my city, you gonna see. Like it's there, it's like that. I ain't faking, I ain't lying. Like, no, it's really like that. And if I had 8 million for him to put in my community, best believe
it's gonna work. It's moving different.
But it's all about the tribe. So connecting with like-minded individuals to be on the same frequency. Because it's like, all right, look, I'm gonna do this in Philly, Oakland, LA. All right, well, look, I know somebody else in Miami. They got somebody. Let's do it together, bro.
Yeah.
But a lot of ROGs failed us as well.
And I'm wondering why, like, where did it go wrong? You know what I mean? Because, like, I remember sitting with my dad and all his friends while they playing cards or dominoes or whatever, and just the lessons that I was able to get. And I'm like, what was the breakdown? Like, because it's just, you just don't feel that anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? Like the sense of love, the sense of community, the sense of brotherhood, it just feels.
Well, a lot of
it's
them
like we gotta really seek it now. You know what I mean? Like we get it like this.
Jesus in jail though.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of them a lot of them on drugs, and they smokers now, and their opinion don't matter to the world.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to raise somebody when you behind bars or you a fiend. Like that's you get looked at.
Yeah, the respect ain't there.
No, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, because a lot of people be looking like, right, well, you had your time and you didn't do much with it.
Yeah,
100%.
Right. So why should I spend my time listening to you?
Yeah.
Right. And then community is gone. Right. Because it's not just that person; it's all the connections you have to that person. Right. We barely do family reunions anymore.
Man.
right? Gatherings,
Oh.
dinners.
Dinner.
Yeah.
Like just dinner.
Just dinner, period.
Just dinner.
All of that has been replaced. Our digital lives, parallel to our real lives, which consume so much of our real time, right? And so there's we don't have time for each other, right? Which is a huge thing because the
we
whole
don't
thing.
make time.
Well,
for
yeah,
each
we
other.
don't
We
make
have
time. But what was that sitting around? That was fellowship. That was ciphering.
100%.
That was living, right?
Yeah.
Having those conversations. Now, not only that, being a man is illegal today, right? So trying to even ascertain your position, your ideas, busting each other balls, as we say, talking shit to each other, having those type of conversations, political, religious, talking about what we think about the world. All of that is over police now.
Yeah.
So now you even go talk to another father and his opinion sound like a sucker. Like, oh, you ain't even the type
Well,
of,
now
you
it's
ain't
like
cut from the same
you
thread.
got to compete with something that's hard to compete with, right? You know what I mean? It's like real life is hard to compete with the phone. You know what I mean? So like we looking at these kids, like when I think about me sitting there with my dad and all his friends, I didn't have a phone or an iPad to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I had them to watch.
Right.
So that was the entertainment.
Right.
Them talking shit, laughing, you know what I mean? That was my movie right there. Now we sit and everybody on the phone. So that's why we don't sit at the table no more. Cause it's not even enough stimulation for these kids. You know what I mean? So it's like we're overstimulated. And I think the technology, to me, that's the downside of it. Like, I'm with you. My family, we sit down to have dinner.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's like that's
Mandatory.
just that's our household.
That's dope.
Right? Like once I moved back to LA and my sister and brother-in-law and all them are here, we do Sunday dinner.
That's dope.
It's like, let's sit and talk, put the phones up, like
have real dialogue.
Yeah, like let's actually, because there's so much to learn, right?
Dope.
And it's like we had to start consciously putting that back in because that's how it was raised.
It's crazy. I asked my cousin this because we were talking about the same thing. My cousin dude, you met him. I'm like, I said we so fucked up as a community. I'm like, who you rather be your old head, Mr. Miyagi or The Rock? Said The Rock. Why? Why? Because he a wrestler. So you rather not take the info from Mr. Miyagi? Because this guy is lit to the world, but that's parallel what's going on in today's time.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, that's a tough comparison.
No, but
I don't think so. But I get what you're saying.
But
people, I'm not to take away from your analogy because I get the analogy. But you know, I'm a tourist, so I'll be thinking analytical about everything.
But look, what I'm saying is, what foundation that The Rock really? What's the foundation for real? So that's the same thing. I'm gonna listen to my grandfather before I listen to a rapper.
Yeah, The Rock is an entertainer.
That's what's happening.
You know what I mean?
He's an entertainer.
Where Mr. Miyagi is a teacher.
And that's where we go.
You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, I think it's very clear.
Mr. Miyagi was an actor.
Well, yeah.
Here we go.
Well, yeah. But you feel the drip. Like,
actually, Mr. Miyagi was a character.
It was a character.
Yeah. Nah, the man that played Mr. Miyagi was an actor. So no, we can still talk about Mr. Miyagi because that character is exactly what we on. Nah, I'm with my bro here. Nah,
but that's
we don't let Keith play us like that.
That's just what it is, though.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like it's actually really interesting because we was laughing like, and it's funny because this is a podcast, right? And what we're doing, but a lot of it, what it is, we're about sharing stories, right? And everybody talking. It's not about us trying to give advice and acting like experts on any one set topic. It's like let's get the stories out and the truth out. But we were kind of making fun of some of the other podcast situation where everybody thinks they're experts. So it's like if you have a following or you've made some money, you now an expert, and that's not necessarily the case. It's
what makes
like
you expert?
Exactly. Well,
I'm asking too.
To me, it's time in, it's reps, right? It's learning. Do you have a well-rounded sense of knowledge? Did you put the real reps in? Did you apply it? Right? Do you have the expertise? To me, what makes you an expert is when you can do it again.
Yeah.
So what happens, like, that's why to me, a one-hit wonder is always going to be a failure. Because to me, what that means is either you gave up, which is kind of rare, is that you couldn't do it again.
Yeah.
Right. And so to me, when I see in an entrepreneurial space, okay, cool. You did a company, it did okay or whatever, but you didn't learn the process. You didn't learn. You can't. So you're not an expert. Anybody's capable of getting lucky. We're all capable of hitting a lick.
Keep doing it again.
Do it again. Do it again. Like those are the folks that we put. When you talk about a Jay-Z, that's not one
Yeah, I was
hit.
about to say that.
That's
But
50
Jay,
Cent.
but Jay, those guys wasn't chasing hits.
They weren't.
They was just pouring out they poems.
They had the process down. They had the work ethic.
They went through the process.
It got to be tried.
That's the expert to me.
Proven
That's how I would
and
define it.
tested. That's the expert. If you are not tried, proven, and don't have the experience and no track record, right, in that lane, which definitely requires time, right? I think time, man, is one of the biggest authoritative things that you can throw around, right? Because it's like, you can be an expert at anything if you're willing to put that time in and to learn and to do the research and to experiment and to have the experience in it. Like, I think that that's the thing. Oftentimes people conflate like expert with like schooling and like education and things of that nature. Education, yes, but in a sense you can self-educate yourself, right? And develop expertise through experience. And now you can give, right, your perspective, opinion, or experiences.
But see, that's the point though, what you put in. That's the reps. You can't be an expert if you haven't actually experienced it, if you haven't done it. You can teach something and not be an expert. Right? Because I can read up on something and teach, but I don't know that makes me an expert. And what I think is happening is people are able to read and consume information and then are positioning themselves as experts.
Yeah. That's why I think the experience has to be there.
It has to be there in that. So it's like, we got to do more application. It was actually TD Jakes. He said this he was talking to my pastor. They had a show not that long ago out in New York. But he was kind of like, too many of us are becoming and not enough of us have arrived. And it's like everybody's kind of positioning themselves as this expert and talking while they're still becoming. And it's like, go through actually get some experience and then talk about what you did.
Yeah.
Instead, now people are actually talking and teaching and pushing things out that they haven't even done.
I agree with
and
that.
It's like, we got to dial some of that back.
That goes to like, all right, to expert is not even a very high level, right, ranking, right? Being a master that's the arrive point, right? Because you can be an expert in becoming, because you're researching, you're developing, you have experience, so you can speak on it in a higher matter than the person who has none, right? And you may be in farther than them to where your expertise with it is enough to where you can teach another.
Yeah.
But when you're a master at something, right? Now that's a completely different level of field. I got a line that I say in one of my verses. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can fake it till you make it, but it's just faking if you never make it. You know what I mean? So a lot of people just faking because they never go arrive.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, right? So like, to be an expert, you have authority. So how did you get the authority? It got to be some sort of battle, some sort of war, some sort of competition.
Well, in today's time?
Yeah, because that's where I'm like, a lot of people don't have, they're claiming authority.
I don't know. I think people could just say I'm an expert. And
that's what I'm saying. We got to start challenging this.
I think it's the difference between, because you could be an expert to somebody who's a beginner, right? Yeah. So let's say Correct. AI, right?
Correct.
You put in 3 months, right? You can put in 3 months in a specific niche field and become an expert at that to a beginner.
Yeah.
Right. But then you have somebody that may be in it for 10 years. You're not an expert to them.
Correct.
Right. So I think that's the differentiation is that you have to understand to everybody, you're not their expert. Yeah. Right. You can be a expert, because if you put in more time than somebody else, you have a lot that you can teach them.
Yeah. That's fair. That's very fair. I agree with that statement. I agree with that. And I think we got to start challenging folks more. You know, like,
that's difficult too.
Yeah, it's difficult, but I think we should push ourselves in that. Like, we grew up as young men in a very competitive environment.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, you could be the expert one day.
Right.
Somebody gonna try you, and you got to defend that. You know what I mean? Like, and I believe in that.
Well, I think that's the ranking process almost in the world, where it's like, you know, everybody gets these blanket titles. You're an influencer, you're this. And it's like, well, there's different levels to this.
Yeah.
Right. And we have not gotten to that point where we know how to rank people at different levels.
Yeah.
Right. Because, you know, in the Army, you got different ranking. Everybody, you a person that was in the Army. Okay, what was your ranking?
Yeah.
Right? Was you a cadet? Was you a sergeant? Was you a captain? Was you a general? Was you a cook? Right? So it's different. What was the time in that you have? What levels did you reach? Right? So I think that's where the differentiation, like, yeah, you're an expert, but you ain't level 5 expert. Relax.
Yeah.
You 3 months in, you 3 to
Mhm.
6 months in. I'm 10 years into this.
Yeah.
I got a 10-year over you. You feel me?
Yeah.
And with that comes a completely different perspective. With that comes a different way
Yeah,
that
start
you
showing your
understand by
receipts,
having
man.
that experience in the game. And that's where we haven't been able to differentiate because we use these buzzwords and it thinks it creates an equal playing field,
Yeah.
right? Like I can say I'm a global thought leader. Another person can come and say that they're a thought leader, right? But my expertise is going to be higher because of my experience.
Yeah.
I have proof. I can show you where we travel around the world. I can show you all of these different benchmarks that we hit to where it's like, hey, my accolades are higher, my
You
ranking is higher.
demonstrated already.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, you got to demonstrate.
It's demonstrated, but
Yeah.
but like,
And I don't think I've ever called myself an expert at something, but if I was to go by definition, I'm an expert in many things.
yeah.
I mean, I would say so.
Yeah.
I think we're all an expert in something, but I think
Yeah,
I think we've got
something.
into someone, right? And I think what we have to do is, if you're going to claim that level of authority, then
I'm about to
be
start claiming
open.
it. I
Be
ain't gonna
open
lie.
to the challenge.
I'm about to start
Right?
saying I'm
Be
an expert at
prepared- be
everything now
prepared to
that I am.
I think it's so important, man. Like, you know, with the Mr. Miyagi thing, is like, that's just me saying, like, don't forget
No, I
about
get
them,
it. Yeah.
them OGs. And like,
100%.
shout out to my OG, Sean Holiday, Tubby, because he put me in position.
Yeah.
And I'm always tapping in. I'm always, hey, big bro, what you think about this? Even if I got my outlook and my view on it, I
Yeah.
want to get yours. You might say, but if you do it like this, and then you wait, it'll turn out. But
Yeah.
nowadays, we don't, you know.
Well, I think that's value over popularity is what you was getting to because
Yeah, for
most
sure.
people gauge popularity and not value.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that to me has always been the struggle because, and this is why people who have the value want to become popular. So
Mhm.
they're seen in a proper light because they look at people who are popular that they don't think have the value. And they like, okay, well, I never wanted to be popular. And then now they have a grudge at this person that is popular
Yeah.
and people want their expertise versus somebody who went through this, who
went
has
through
more
it.
tenure in the game.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't be mad. You really can't be mad at the person who is popular and this person has a
Yeah.
connection with them and they just rather learn from them.
Yeah.
Right. And they say, well, listen, I know that there's experts out there. I know that there's people who went through the schooling, the education, the institution, who went through different protocols, but I don't have a connection with you. So I don't want to learn from you.
Yeah.
And that's something that people also have to realize. That's just a fact on how people choose their teachers.
Yeah.
Right. They don't always choose the best. They choose the one that they connect with.
Yeah. Well, bro, I know I want to be mindful of your time, but one of the things I'm just curious on, you talked about the two kind of types of A&R, right? You talked about the analytical side, you talked about the cultural side, and you put yourself in the cultural side. What's that process like? How are you finding and discovering, like, because I'm guessing you just outside.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he be outside.
Yeah, I'm guessing, that's what I'm
Mine
guessing.
is outside, tapped in.
I'm outside. I think, I'm culture lifestyle, and I do good with the research stuff because it work hand in hand.
Yeah.
Center and point guard, like
Yeah. All day.
but for me, I'm from the culture, so I know, like, if I can't go to your neighborhood, and when, like, if we walking and kids ain't running up to you and cars is stopping, that's a certain kind of feeling. Like the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Yeah.
So if I come to your neighborhood and if it's not like that,
You ain't buzzing there.
you don't really.
So that's important. So that's interesting because we actually talk about it even on a traditional business sense. It's kind of like dominate one market before you try to go. And I think a lot of times we try to skip.
Oh yeah.
You know, everyone wants to go national, right? Wants to go global right at the start, but it's like you're actually identifying, are you buzzing in your one community first?
Yeah, I mean, bro,
Got it.
you gotta go to the crib.
Yeah.
Like, don't nobody want to do the work.
Yeah.
Don't nobody want to go through the phases where you start off as 20 people at the show.
Yeah.
And then there's 100, and then it's 1,000, and then so on. They just want to, I'm trying to perform at Rolling Loud. It's like,
Come on.
but that's what Ice Spice went through when she first came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were like, she can't perform. If we go look at her first performance on Rolling Loud,
Yeah.
and then look at her latest performance, is the same routine.
Wow.
Nothing changed.
Wow.
Nothing changed. And we gotta give artists a grace.
Yeah.
Like we talking about, like, Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff and Ray Charles and Patty, and they was real artists, bro.
Yeah.
So we can't even like put these artists at the same height of a Patty or
Yeah. Yeah.
bro, even if Beyonce, bro. Think about it.
Yeah. That kind of time and work.
Who's the closest thing to Jay-Z? Who's the closest thing to 50 Cent?
Yeah.
Even let's dig into culture.
Kendrick.
Let's
I
not.
was talking about myself.
It don't hit culture.
Got it.
Now let's talk about. We just gonna talk culture.
Yeah.
When the last time we had a TV show, Martin, Jamie Foxx, the Wayne brothers? We just talking culture now.
Facts.
When we had another sneaker as big as Jordan, when we had another boot as big as Tim's, it's just culture.
Yeah.
Because what we do is, I see bro doing something, I want to do that. I want to be a thought leader. And then you got so many people like, bro, let him do what he's
let him
doing.
shine on that.
Let him get it all. He didn't even get his shit off.
Yeah.
And that's what our culture do though. And that's why the people who been doing it, the Cubes, Wayne Cube, killing it. 50, killing it. Because we gave them space and grace and time to evolve and let them get their shit off.
Yeah. No, I'm a firm believer that we destroy our greats before they get to develop into them. Right? We don't give them that grace period of growth.
I think we're pushed out in the world so quick. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't. I talk about this like in venture capital. What always bothers me is if you're black and you raise some money, right? So you're an early stage company, but as soon as you raise some money, it's a press release, it's plastered on all these articles, right? And so now you might be pre-revenue, all of you still trying to figure it out. You early in the development, but now all of a sudden to everybody, you got to be an expert. And you like, whoa. This is a startup. This ain't an established company, but because of the exposure, you on a different stage. And I feel like these kids that are artists.
That's just the company and the public point of view of it. Correct. Let's talk about your family and friends, the entitlement that come with that the people don't even see.
The responsibility.
So the responsibility
crazy.
For your new cousins, for your new baby mom, for your whole neighborhood, for your business partners.
Yep.
Now that's and nobody asks.
The thing
how
is,
you feel?
Yeah. Yeah. You
that
can't do
the person that is
anymore.
successful needs the most help. Yeah. That's to me is right. Yeah. Everybody starts to become extremely selfish around you because they only thinking what you can do for me versus what you can do for that person. The best thing, everybody start getting, and this is the Instagram and Hollywoods, getting everybody to think about their dreams, right? Getting every woman, hey, you got a man with a dream, think about yours now, get yours. And it's like, come on, man. The thing is, how about we protect this one, build this one, make it a sun, right? Yeah. That can feed the ecosystem of the rest of the planets.
Right.
But you see a little fire over here, you trying, you know what I mean, get everything to focus on you now. And it's like, that's not how it works. No, let's build up this ecosystem, make it tight.
I learned that with Jay's team.
You know, that person that's rich in the family, don't give out these loans and stuff yet. These people should be developing skill sets so that they can help you. Keep struggling a little longer to this thing over here is so set that it creates an ecosystem that this person is not being drained when they do assist because you're a part of the ecosystem that adds to, not just take from.
You know, the one place where I think we do it fairly well is in sports. Right? We'll protect that kid playing sports. We'll take him to all the games, to practices. We'll come up with the little oranges and the Capri Suns, right? All the way up until that person becomes a pro. But it's like, we don't pour in on all the other things. Like you said, we try to extract from them so quick. Like you got that cousin that's dope with technology and his code and they raise a little money. You got to ask. It's like, no, do the same thing like you did with that kid playing AAU basketball.
Right.
Like give him some time.
Yeah.
It'll happen, but give him some time. And that's one thing I'm taking away with what you're saying, bro. Is like, give people some time to develop.
And we count people out.
I love that.
Just like what Meek going through, right?
Yeah.
We just counting them out. Like,
once the trauma gets sent to the algorithm, it's a wrap.
It's like
But the problem with stuff like that is we don't think about the effects that we having on the people that they assist. See, we talk about all this black excellence and progress, and we talk about circulating the dollar and all. We don't believe in that because you be trying to destroy the very person that's circulating the dollar.
100%.
You know what I mean? For everybody else. I'm not going to try to destroy somebody, right? and not think about like, yo, I'm about to take money out of their food. I mean, they partner's pocket, about their family. Like, how many people, households are you destroying from that?
Yeah.
To where now they're going to have to figure out how to eat. That's automatic homelessness. That's people getting into criminality. That's people locked up in jail. That's another cycle.
All for
so that you can laugh and try to destroy a black man and woman. I'm not participating in none of that.
No.
You know what I mean? That's the highest level of Sambo suckery that happens on the planet Earth. I ain't gonna say cause Uncle Tom wasn't the sucker, right? Everybody acting like Sambos. You feel me? So I know if you watch Goodbye Uncle Tom, and there's a scene in the movie where the slave is being castrated naked in front of everybody. And the rest of the slaves are just laughing. I mean, they laughing it's like a comedy show in there. And the narrator is explaining, right? This is what happens because they fearful of being next.
Yeah.
Right. And so this laughing becomes this trauma response. Right. It's not really laughing because you truly entertain.
Right.
You fear being the next one being castrated in front of the rest. And this is how we've made a culture. We've made self-destruction our entertainment. Right. So I'm not going to laugh off of it. I done seen so many black men and women get destroyed in my life. I don't have a laugh for it. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, some might be comical for a second, but for us to take our huge platforms where we're marketing, we branding, we sell it, instead of seeing something that we like and being like, you know what, man, 19 Keys really spit. I'm gonna put that post out there. Boom, I'm gonna drop that. Nah, okay, bro, getting exposed. I'm gonna take my big platform, right, where you couldn't even pay me to post, but I'm gonna put this out there and promote destruction for free. Man, that's some devil, sucker, demon, worst low-life shit that I see on the planet. And when I see that, I see somebody that I will never let you sit or stand next to me because the same person be rooting for my destruction.
That's real.
Shit, black on black crime, bro.
That's real.
The thing is, like, the same way they putting this false narrative around me, why y'all ain't doing that on the same token on the reform thing? Why we not seeing the same promotion?
Put the same energy on the positive stuff.
We never gonna do that. Never gonna do that.
But that's what we
not this culture, because we talked about culture. The problem is that it's an anti-culture, right? So the thing is, the music is anti-culture, right? We used to have a time where you talking about cultural icons and titans. It was a little easier because you can be a product of the culture. Now people are a product of anti-culture. You know what I'm saying? And the culture we have is an anti-culture. It's anti-family, it's anti-health, it's anti-values, right? It's the anti-support, it's anti-brother and sister, it's anti-life, it's death, right? And so now we at this place to where it has got so far from anything that we should protect. Let it die.
Well, it's like when something is going up, we just expect it to fall because that's what we've seen so much. So when people are, especially in our community, right, when you start to see your heroes being assassinated, we are almost we know the end of the story, that you're going to be taken too soon, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be this fall, right? We don't get to see our heroes grow old and die.
Nope.
Right? Our heroes get taken. So it's like, that's why it's like a trigger response, right? When somebody's up, as soon as something bad happens, we pile on. I knew it. I was waiting. There, see, look at that. You know what I mean? Like, people were comfortable to seeing what's going on with Diddy. It was like they were waiting on the fall.
Oh yeah.
So to me, it's scary then.
No, it definitely was.
So now you got people that really, they don't even want to be up because they scared of the fall.
Well, yeah.
So we killing ourselves, right, and killing our dreams before we even. So it's like that to me is again part of why we have to do stuff like this. Because it's like, nah, you got to keep dreaming. Like, we should start expecting that we are going to achieve our dreams and we're going to die old.
Well, here's the change.
We're going to live that life. That's what you was hitting on. You know what I mean? That's what we should be trying for.
100%.
Once you become successful to the black community today, this idea, this black community, which is this anti-culture now, you become targeted by the black community today.
It's crazy.
We used to think of it differently. We used to think that you get targeted by the white man. Now we be like, no, I'm going to be targeted by my own. They're going to be the ones that utilize their resources and they platform, their energy and time to try to destroy me, right? And so this self-hate thing that we have, that we've been talking about for so long, has spiraled out of control. And what it's done is produce children that have spawned with that, right? And those values and those ideas as normalcy, right? And so you got to it's like a tumor, right? It has to be completely detached because it's a part of it that's the cancer of the culture. right? And that has to be cut off. And this is why people would rather be, I'd rather be silent. I'd rather goddamn disappear and be in the background, because how can I be trying to help the very person that's going against me? And how can you make a case for me that this is a good way for me to use the rest of my life? Right? It's not. So when people have that passion and they go out there and they execute and they revolutionary and they decide that, I want to help my people, if they're not assisted at the highest level, right, then I don't think that the people that they're trying to assist deserves the help.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I think that's it. Like, we gotta rewire. You know what I mean? We got to get back to dreaming. We got to get back to the sense of brotherhood, get back to the support, get back to the fact that we are supposed to deposit more into this world than we take away from it. Right? And I think that's something that we can all take away with what you were talking
100%.
about. You know what I mean? It's like, let's pour into each other. Let's pour into this world instead of just trying to take, because we're going to deplete it. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's the definition of like sustainability. Like, it's, in order for the world to be sustainable, we gotta, as we're taking, we gotta replenish. We gotta put back in. But now if you just take it all, man, and we're starting to see that, honestly, with capitalism, and I don't want to go deep into that because we've never seen extreme wealth like we're seeing today. Because in order to get that means you have to hoard it in some ways. Instead of it being in circulation, which is normal. That's where I think capitalism and extreme capitalism is breaking in America. But we're going to say that for another.
That's another.
But brother, man, thank you, bro, for gracing us, man.
Man, hold on, before we go,
not
to cut your wisdom. Bro, you got these raw ass shoes that I ain't get to get me none.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got a brand you put out, they sold out, the people can't support. That's the one thing I do want to highlight. All right.
100%.
Our communities and our people, I would say that they support us.
Yes.
There's the flip side of that, right? Because that's the dark side of the culture, right? There's two Black Americas, right? I'm not a part of that other Black America, right? They ain't invite me to the White House. There's this side of Black America, but this is the light side of the culture that we're talking about now, is where we get that reciprocation. I put together a tour, my own money, people showed out in droves. You put out your clothing line to where we're now, not just a clothing line, but your brand, I should say. You developed your brand. You put out a shoe, which is not easy to do. You got to go through molds. You got to go through process. You got to go back and forth with the factory. It takes months. It's expensive. You put it out there and it was a hit, right? And if you can, just give us a little process of like having that idea, manifesting that, putting out a hit shoe. You know what I mean? It's selling out. Now you're on your second colorway.
Yeah. I was always into fashion. Music and fashion for me is like my mom and dad. Like, that's just, it always kept me in the crib and just made me want to learn about fashion. Instead of running the street, I always was that type of kid. Like, I'd rather not play the video game. I'd rather like focus on something that I really truly love. Yeah, real life. So like my grandma, my mom, my dad, like my whole family could dress. So like them joints really like was inspired by like my grandma, because my grandma used to do like maid work, and she would wear like runners. You know what I'm saying? So the runner's always been a thing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something to honor my grandma. So shit, just put them together. And it's something I worked on for a year.
Yeah.
I wanted to take my time with it. And got it right.
But you put it out, it's first of all, it's high level aesthetics.
Yeah.
A lot of people do brands, but they don't do it right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, whether I knew that was your brand or not, if I would have just seen and scrolled, but you know, it's always hard when somebody say, bro, I got this shoe coming out. Then they show you, and then you got to have that moment where you digest it and tell them,
Really
like,
look
this
at it.
ain't it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Try
Versus
again.
when somebody show you and you got, these is actually raw, bro. I ain't gonna lie, like, that's the best thing is
That
somebody
is.
show you, the stress goes away. I ain't gotta tell this person these is whack. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? You almost got gratitude. Like, whew. Bro, you just saved me a lot of, you know what? These is raw. That's how I was seeing your shoes, professional, raw. The way y'all put it together, the photo shoots, the clothes, the accessories that go along with them, the color combinations, everything was very thoughtful.
No, I put a lot of time and energy into it. I also like in my foot, my right foot, I began plantar fasciitis. And that's like,
I'm not acting like I know what that means, but yes, sir. I'm just saying, because
It's like a bone spur.
thing. Something you don't want to feel. Like,
Yeah.
I don't wish that on nobody.
Yeah.
So like, it all come from like the arch in your foot. So that's why you're gonna get yours. But if you got the sneakers, that's why they so comfortable. Like, I need these things to be super comfortable. So that's another reason, because I can't wear like a lot of sneakers.
When the collaboration we doing coming about?
Oh man, let's get that going, man. Shout out to my partner Trishana and Kayan, man. Like my partners, they believed in the vision. And we selling shit out.
Yeah.
I love my black community.
Yeah.
Man,
What's the collaboration? Hold on. Y'all, you just, what you talking about?
We tapping in.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they just sprinkle that out there, y'all. You know, we don't even get, I guess if you know, you know. I don't know.
So, if you don't know, you gonna know.
I guess
you'll be an expert at it.
I love it. I love it.
We've been doing this fashion thing for a minute. You know, I'm saying we now. You feel me? You know, I do this, you know, very heavy and heavyweight, you know, like heavyweight. And my whole thing is I want to collaborate with a lot of black artists and designers. I feel like this is like that wave where at first a person put out a shoe, people weren't really supporting it, right? This is where like startup brands really get to be accepted and respected, right? Because it's that connectivity, right? To where a person really feels the story, they feel the connection, and they'll wear them and treat them the same way they'll treat some Yeezys, right?
Right.
Same way they'll treat some Fear Gods. I'm naming black brands, by the way. You know what I'm talking about? You feel me? But you got your Milanos. You know what I mean? You got give me some more black brands.
Gallery department.
We gotta if we gonna do that, we gotta go to FUBU. Like they start
FUBU.
Sean Carter.
Rockawares.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Crown Society. You know what I'm talking about? A brand in there, you feel me? But yeah, I just want to shout out all the black brands that's really taking over the space today, because I feel like that's the time. We don't always celebrate when we start to finally get to that time that we complained about for a while, right? Yeah. And this is a time we really starting to respect black brands at a higher level, right? And I feel like we're going to continue to see the next 100 million to $1 billion brands that come about.
100%.
You feel me? Just naturally.
I just would say, not to cut you off, I would just say, like, well, mine's is a real story. Like community service is a real thing. Like, and I demonstrated community service where I'm from for over 12 years.
Yeah.
So I took the long road, and that's what, like, me personally, I feel like if you want to grab the audience, and you know, you got to take that journey. You just print a t-shirt out and print a t-shirt up and be like, yo, this is my brand. Like, bro, you just put your name on it and put it on a building shirt.
It's lazy nowadays because of the access you have to different type of manufacturers now. And it just requires you just a little extra step. Instead of doing that, go get the embossed at least shirt. You know what I'm saying? Instead of do that, go get the 3D printed on there. You feel me? Go get the rhinestones or something. Like, just take that extra little measurement. You can go on social media right now and type in wholesale manufacturers. There's videos, people out there giving the sauce in the game. Go out there, establish the connection. Go on Alibaba if you need to. Go email them, right? Get that one-on-one conversation with them. Figure out what their MOQs is and start your dream. But go beyond the t-shirt.
And the hoodie.
Yeah.
No, but what I will say, man, like, just keep creating, man. Just keep creating, no matter where you at in life. I always say that, just keep creating, because you'll talk to people and you know the first thing they say, yeah, I see you got your clothing line, man. I wanted to start mine. Then, what happened? I just stopped. Why? Wasn't nobody going to buy it. How you know that? You didn't even do it. So we stop ourselves a lot of the times.
Nobody want to hear about failed dreams, first of all.
At all. I was about to say, I was like, I don't even want to hear. Don't even come with me with that one. Just tell me you love my stuff.
Yeah. You know, I might start me a brand called Failed Dreams.
That's definitely kind of fire, though.
You know, I'm gonna have to start, by the time this come out, it's gonna be out already. It's gonna be, nobody gonna know it's me.
Just take designs that people didn't launch.
That's actually kind of fire. Like,
hey,
that's really fire. That's like on some investment type of.
And no, because I
might have a little something for that one, man. Yeah, put that together.
Because I really want to do a brand where it's like faceless. You don't even know whose it is. You feel me? But the idea of it is like, we did this for all the dreams that failed, so you can live vicariously through it.
That's so, man.
Well, that shit might come out. Somebody, anything you want to leave us with, man, other than that, brother? We appreciate your time, man, gracing us with this.
It's love, man. I tell everybody out there, man, like, it sounds so cliche, but chase your dream, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, live life to the fullest.
Come on.
Where
All
can they
action.
find you? Where can the artists get tapped in if, you feel me, they looking to push themselves out there?
Shit, Mont Brown on all social media platforms. I think it's so easy now for artists, man. Just have one of your homies just film you on your iPhone, and whether it's a song, whether it's a freestyle, blast it out. And I'd rather, for me personally, if I'm a young artist, instead of buying a Louis and all that, I'm gonna put that into my craft.
Mm.
Even if it's I don't know, a little new camera, whatever you could is helping your craft.
Yeah.
Put
yeah.
that to you.
Put that money on yours.
Put it. Yeah, invest into yourself. A lot of people don't want to invest. Like, you know, you gotta invest into yourself.
Yeah.
So invest into yourself, man, and get around some good people. Find your tribe, people that's gonna support you. You know, step outside of your comfort zone.
On your tribe season, tap in.
It is. Another episode, y'all. Manifest House. We appreciate y'all. My brother Mont, thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, G.
My brother.
This is about the playground for your dreams. Because it's not something that you can give up.
Manifest house. Manifest house. Manifest house. Manifest house.